What up, YouTube? Ed WeskerGriff coming back with episode 2 for the Ask Yourself video series. First off, before I begin episode 2, I just want to say thank you to everyone that watched episode 1 and left their feedback and comments. Really appreciate the support that episode got and the conversation that it started in the comments section. Really enjoyed listening to your guys' feedback. Now, for episode 2, this might be a little more polarizing topic, but I hope we can get some great solid feedback in the comments section. But for this episode, I want to talk about Project 2020. I want to talk about what is Project 2020's legacy in the hobby, and ultimately, was Project 2020 good for the hobby? Now, there's a lot of opinions out there on Project 2020. It was quite polarizing at the time it came out, and there was a myriad of opinions out there. There were some people who were extremely pro Project 2020. There was tons of speculators and flippers who were getting into it. And then there was people who were collecting the cards and were enjoying the artwork. But during the guts of the pandemic in 2020, there was just a tidal wave explosion for all Project 2020 cards. And I think what happened with Project 2020 that really messed it up was there was more people that were speculating and flipping than were actually collecting the cards. So it got flooded with too many flippers and too many speculators, too many people looking to make money off of it, and it didn't have enough collectors, enough people that appreciated the cards. And 2 years looking back now, I'm buying Project 2020 cards to complete my Keith Shore run and to complete my Ermsey run, and those cards are selling for well below MSRP on the original Topps website. The MSRP was $20. I recently bought a Dwight Gooden Keith Shore for $4. You can get the Keith Shore Griffey, the most printed card in the set. There was over 99,000 Keith Shore Griffeys printed. You can find one on eBay for $2 to $3. It is just insane how these cards just are rock bottom prices. And I remember during this explosion, comments were made that this is probably might be the ultimate destiny of Project 2020, to be relegated to the value box at card shows, to be in the dollar boxes or the $5 boxes. And I don't know if that's a good legacy for Project 2020. And then I think about, was this ultimately good for the hobby? Because Project 2020 had a huge pub to it. It had a huge marketing blitz from Topps, from all the artists who were involved. The whole social media phenomenon, the whole media blitz behind it. Beckett got in on the action, putting one of the Project 2020 cards on their front page. It was really a push by the industry to really get these cards out here. And I think about the people who bought in at those peak prices. And you see this a lot. A lot of people rediscovered the hobby in 2020 with the pandemic. And a lot of people might have bought Project 2020 cards who didn't know about the market fluctuations or how the ebbs and flow or the intricacies of the hobby nowadays. And I think about the person that might have bought the Ermsey Trout for $2,500. I think about that person who might have paid $2,000. I think the Ermsey Trout topped out at around $2,500. That was the most expensive Project 2020 card that was printed. At one point, it was outselling a PSA 10 update Mike Trout, which is what the card was based on, just to give some perspective. So think about the person that bought that card. Consider that they might be new to the hobby. Again, this is all speculation. This is all, hyperbole, thinking out loud here. But think about what that person feels now. How does that person feel that the Ermsey Trout only sells barely sells for $325, $350 on eBay right now in 2022. What is that person thinking? And anyone worth their salt in the hobby who's been around for a while knows that there's ebbs and flows and there's trends and, there's things that you stay away from with a 10-foot pole. But again, lots of new people, lots of new collectors, speculators, whatever, have come into the hobby. And, what are they going to think of Project 2020? What do they think about it now? Again, things change. Project 2020 could always become a thing maybe 5 or 10 years from now where, it reignites the vigor. But right now, 2 years removed of its release, I got to say, I don't think it has a good legacy for the hobby. It didn't save Topps from getting bought out. Fanatics has bought Topps. Topps lost their license for baseball. Thankfully, they were saved by Fanatics, so they're still going to be around making cards. But the Project Series didn't save Topps from losing their license of baseball. I think of who benefited from Project 2020 the most, and honestly, the only people I can think of that benefited from it were the artists. They did extremely well, and credit to them. But the only other people I can think of are maybe the people that bought in super, super early, who most of those people probably unloaded the cards to pick up. Shout out to Bob Lewis, landing that Roberto Clemente. So Bob, good on you. But other than that, think of all the negative stories that you heard during 2020 about the project, about all the eBay returns. eBay and PayPal had to change their return policy because of this. Just think about that. That's also cooked into the legacy. So I want to end this by saying I really enjoy the Project 2020 cards. I like them. I'm buying them up. I'm buying my Keith Shore run. I'm completing my Ermsey run. I do enjoy those cards. I don't want it to sound like I have an axe to grind against Project 2020, but I'm looking at this from, I want people to ask themselves, what is the legacy of Project 2020, and was it ultimately good for the hobby? And I don't know. I think it's a complicated answer, and I think it's not looking too great. It wasn't too great, but I do appreciate the cards. They are in my collection, and I'll continue buying them for $4 or $5 a pop. But boy, oh boy, what a time. So please leave your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Again, I think this is kind of a polarizing topic because there's some people who are insanely passionate about the project cards, and then there's other people who have very strong opinions on them. So I'm very curious to see what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a great one.